Okay, so when you hear the word pika, what's the first thing that pops into your head? For most of us, it's a very specific little creature. But today, we're going to see that the real story is, well, it's much, much bigger. Let's get into it.
Yeah, I'm willing to bet this is what you were picturing. The American pika. It's this small, unbelievably cute, kind of potato-shaped mammal that lives way up high on rocky mountain slopes. You know, its little high-pitched squeak is totally iconic in the American West, which is why, for so many of us, this is the poster child for the entire pika name.
It's an adorable picture, for sure. But what if I told you this is just one face in a massive family photo? Seriously, focusing only on this little guy is like saying you know all about dogs after only meeting a golden retriever.
And here is that family photo. Wow, just take a second and look at all of them. This is the incredible diversity we're talking about. Every single one of these is a distinct species, shaped by its own unique corner of the world, from the high Himalayas to the Siberian steppes. It's just a stunning group portrait of adaptation.
So how big are we talking? At least 29 distinct species have been identified.
29.
And, to make sense of this sprawling clan, scientists have sorted them into three main groups, or branches. So let's start with the first branch on their family tree.
Our first stop on this little family tour brings us to a group known as Conodothoa. You can think of these as the first major branch spreading out from that ancient pika family tree.
And get this, just this one branch, Conodothoa, has 10 different species, all on its own. Each one is perfectly adapted to its home, mostly across the mountains of Central Asia. Let's zoom in on a few and see what makes them so special.
First up, the large-eared pika. The name is pretty on the nose, isn't it? But those huge ears aren't just for looks. Nope, they actually help it regulate its body temperature in its super high-altitude home in the Himalayas. It's a perfect example of form following function.
Then we've got the Chinese red pika. Its coat has this beautiful, warm, reddish-brown color. But this isn't just for fashion. It's camouflage. It helps it blend right into the iron-rich soils of the Tibetan plateau where it lives. So clever.
And one more from this branch, Glover's pika. You can really start to see how these subtle little changes to fur color and facial structure create a whole new species. Each one is a totally unique answer to the question of how to survive out there. All right, ready to meet the next set of cousins? We're moving on to the second major branch of the family, the Akatona clan. And, no surprise, just like the first group, this one is absolutely packed with unique characters. From their coats to their sizes, it's another showcase of nature's endless creativity. Now take a look at this one, the sacred pika. It has this incredible, almost bluish-gray fur, which gives it a really distinct and kind of striking look. And you gotta admit, that name alone just makes you wonder about the stories behind it, right?
And then there's the flat-headed pika. Again, a name that perfectly describes a key physical feature. But why a flat head? Well, that seemingly small anatomical tweak lets it wedge itself into much tighter rock crevices to escape predators. It's a perfect example of evolution shaping a species for pure survival.
Now for our third and final stop. This branch is known as the Pika subgenus, and it's where we're going to find some of the most well-known members of the whole family. This is our final group, but it's no less diverse. It includes species found all across Asia and North America, including, you guessed it, the one that kicked off our whole exploration. For example, here's the collared pika. See that distinctive band of lighter fur right around its neck? That's its namesake collar. It's actually a close relative of the American pika, and it lives in similar rocky places, just a bit further north. And here's Hoffman's pika, which is found only in a tiny isolated region of Mongolia. That really distinct mottled coat isn't just a random pattern, it's a sign of its genetic isolation. It's amazing. Every single portrait in this family tells a completely different evolutionary story.
And this brings it all full circle. Here it is again, our friend the American pika. But now we don't see it as the only pika. Now we see it as just one member of the pika subgenus, which is one of three major branches in this vast, fascinating family.
So, after that whirlwind family reunion, what have we really learned? Let's step back and look at the complete picture one last time.
Seeing them all together like this really drives the point home, doesn't it? This isn't just one animal, it's a whole world of animals, each with its own story, all sharing that one common name, pika. So what's the big takeaway here?
Well, it's that the name Pika is really the title of a giant book, not just a single page. We've seen there are at least 29 species, all organized into those three main groups, Conathoa, Okatona, and Pika. And the biggest lesson is that this incredible biological diversity is often hiding in plain sight, right behind a name we thought we knew.
And that leaves us with a pretty cool thought, right? If the pika family is this vast and varied, it really makes you wonder, what other animal families are out there that we've totally oversimplified? What other incredible diversity is just waiting to be explored, all hiding behind a common name?